bot in there and get our Discord posted. All right. Make sure that I have audio still. Ooh. Ah. Make sure that I have audio still. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is, I don't know why I keep wanting to say January, probably because it's almost January. December 15th, and this is the December 15th Saturday Devstream. So, today we're going to be continuing and finishing our editor rework, as well as getting the structure in place for setting up audio, well, Fmod audio with interactions. I have thought through how I want to handle this a little bit more. It is. Oh, that's interesting. Nope. Bad time to call. So pretty much the last thing we have to do is get our output audio going here. And there's not really much to that right now. Although it's funny, it does look like my border is not quite as tall as it should be. Sorry, a little distracted kind of looking at this. Anyway, so the last thing we have to do is get our output audio section set up. It's set up in the old version, kind of, but it was not really super great. And we're going to kind of streamline this a little bit. So we are going to, let's go ahead and collapse that, because we only care about our new drawers. So let's go ahead. This is interesting. Let's go ahead and look at our editor script for this real quick. I kind of copied the old output audio. Sorry, not output audio. The old output text code, and just basically pasted it down in down here. Oh, that explains why that's doing that. I haven't finished porting it over yet, but I have, I guess, as a quick update. Hello, Gaming Frame. Welcome back. Doing all right. How about you? So since Tuesday, I have pretty much figured out how I want to do audio. It's not. It's very frustrating because I couldn't really find a perfect solution. So I think what I'm going to settle on is output and audio are always going to be arrays, and they must have the same amount of elements. Which probably actually means that by default this should say none and just go through all the way. But the idea is that for every output string that you have, there should be an appropriate audio ID. Most of them, well, not most of them actually, most of them to start will probably be none. But eventual goal by end of the game or by end of development is to have unique audio for every interaction. Now, some of the audio is going to be more subtle than others. Usually, for example, like examine, you're going to get a variation of things from ranging from no audio at all to having like small little like sounds, just to make it seem like you're kind of messing with the object. And that's going to be in stark contrast to things like hit outputs, which are going to be much more noticeably like oomphy. But the idea is that each output will be associated with a unique audio index. So it's going to be a little more. It means that I have to be more careful on the setup side, but it's not terrible if things go wrong. Well, no, I mean if things go wrong, I'll probably get index out of range exceptions. But there's no real good solution besides just me manually doing this as arrays, which kind of sucks, but that's the best solution I can come up with. But that should allow us to do what we need to do. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go down here to get output height because this is clearly not quite doing what it should. Let's go. Here we are. Here we are. Position dot height. Field spacing. There we are. So I think this needs to be output audio dot array size. That's all correct. Oh, hold on. Ooh. this is actually going to need to be this. There we go. Oh, right, plus that. And I think that's my height, if I have it remembered correctly. Output height. Yep. Cool. So that should take care of our spacing and our drawing. Let's go ahead and do this. Then we need to do. Let's probably turn my thing on silent. Did a live stream this morning. Cool. How'd that go? Also, hello Null Inputs. Welcome to the Devstream. How you doing today? Also, Coriander. Alright, so we need to change this to be output audio, dot array size, position. So this is where we're going to do some fun stuff. So for our output audio, I think we only need one line per audio. So what we're going to do there is we're going to say position dot height plus field spacing. All right. Then we're going to not do a label field. Well, gross. I don't want to do that. But I don't really have much of a choice. So cool. So real quick, let me go ahead and say we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. I'm probably just going to blow this all away and redo it from scratch because it'll be faster that way. So, doing good. Well, that's good. And let's see. Pretty well. Might have a live stream in like 5 to 10 minutes. Cool. Also, thank you for the follow, Null Inputs. So let's go ahead and we don't need this label field here. Instead, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to say if, I guess I should make that a serialized property, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Serialized property. We're just going to call this audio, I guess, is going to be equal to output audio dot get array element index I dot find property relative, and this is going to be our ID, I believe. Sound ID. That's what that is. Yeah, all right. I'll keep it as sound ID for now. Sound ID. All right, and with that, we're going to say if audio dot int value does not equal 0, then we need to do some position manipulation, which sucks. Which means we're going to do this. Else, let's get rid of this, and we're just going to say editor GUI layout. Oh, not that. Sorry, editor GUI dot property field position followed by yes, cat, I see you. What are you doing? It's going to be audio. Okay. So if it's got an ID of none, basically, cat, do you have to climb on me while I'm doing my stream? Okay, gonna go. People want me to stream. All right, well, have fun. What are you streaming today? Or now, I guess. So if our audio ID is set to none, it's going to use the full width of it. And if it is set to something other than none, we need to show a transform field so that we can position that audio. So what we're going to do in that case is rect field position is equal to new rect position. And I'm doing it this way because I don't want to have to try and keep track of all of the rect changes that I'm going to make. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to say field position dot width, oh geez, is minus equals, and we're just going to do this, field position dot width minus editor GUI, I think it's editor GUI utility dot label width, yep, So we're subtracting the full width of the rect. Well, no, we're taking the full width of the rect, subtracting the label width, and then we're going to need to divide what's left by half. Divided by 2f, or actually times 0.5f. All right, so we're subtracting that. That gives us our width. And then we're just going to say pretty much this again. We're going to do, I got to cache this, don't I? Cool. So hold on. Float final width is equal to that. And then we're going to say is equal to final, minus equals final width. That's good. And then we're going to say this is going to be field position. Sorry that I'm doing, I probably should throw this up actually. Coding. We're going to be doing a lot of editor stuff today, so I'm going to be kind of like muttering to myself as I rationalize my train of thought. But then we'll be able to toggle back and forth between the editor and scripting it. So we're going to draw our property field, and now we need to move the field position. So we're going to say field position dot x plus equals field position dot width. Okay. Then we're going to say field position dot width is equal to final width. Okay. And then we're just going to say editor GUI dot property field outputs. No, I can just do this. Audio dot find property relative. Oh, right. This has to be position. So field position. Okay, and this is going to be, I think, transform is what I call it. Position. That's what we called it. All right. So now we do also need to do this. I'm going to make a new. You know what? We can leave it like that for now. I might have to make a new list or a new label, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so let that compile, and we should get what we want. I'm hoping. All right. Yes, no, maybe so. I do hate the compilation times for editor stuff. Drives me nuts. So, something has gone horribly wrong. And that something is this, which probably means that I have the wrong property. Oh. Ah, there we are. Problematic, I suppose. There we are. We can just do that. That should solve our problem. I was grabbing the wrong serialized property. Or rather, I was trying to find the correct property under the wrong serialized property. So that was starting an error. Okay, so this should fix it. Yeah, it's, I guess while this is compiling, one of the fun things about reworking my editor toolset and changing up how audio or how data is parsed, I'm finding things that I need to rewrite in my JSON exporter from Google Sheets, and that's it's a good thing, I guess, because it means that this is interesting. Ooh, right, forgot that. So when we do this, it's important that I say GUI content.none, which lets it know not to have that position label. That's why it's making such a weird field. So, actually, this is even worse because I need to basically set up a minus button so that I can delete these at will. Also that's going to say sound ID. So yeah, I do have to make a new label because otherwise that's not going to make sense. Cat. Okay, Cat, you're coming down. Oof. She's in like the worst position for me to get off. Come on, Cat. Not while I'm Devstreaming. All right, sorry. Cat attack. All right, so we have our key pop up. switch that to none, you'll see that when it's switched to none, it takes up the entire width, which is what we want. When it's set to a value, we get shown a label for the position. So what we want to do here is probably rename this, make the label be something something different, and then we need to make sure that our property. Geez, so I need to leave about 25 pixels worth of space on the right for the delete button, which is going to be fun. So cool. Let's go ahead and say, let's get rid of this. And after all of this, we're going to say minus 25f. Okay. So we're going to do all of that fun stuff. And then at the very end, we're going to say field position dot x plus equals field position dot width. Field position dot width is equal to 25f. Okay. And when we do our audio here, we're going to go ahead and say new GUI content, blah, blah, blah. We're going to just say output if, okay, plus I dot toString with 2 zeros, so we get double indexes. That's nice. And then our tooltip is going to be audio to play when the correspond. Hold on. When output text the same index is used. Is displayed. Audio to play when output text at the same index is displayed. And then we're just going to say position data can optionally provide a position, if I could spell can optionally provide a position to play the audio at. All right. And once we have that, we can go ahead and say if GUI.button followed by field position followed by new. Actually, we don't need to do that. I can just say minus, and then we can say I need a callback. Oh, no, I don't, because it's the check here. All right, we're just going to go ahead and say remove output, and then output audio, followed by I, and then we're going to break. Okay, I think I'm going to need to copy this, which sucks. I hate duplicating code when it's not necessary. All right, so I think that will have it behave more along the lines that I was expecting. So real quick, should not height, should not width, cache color, background color, that's all fine. Should not height, blah, blah, blah. Oh, right. And then we're going to have to say GUI.background color is equal to color.red. Then GUI.background color is equal to cached GUI color. All right, so that should now show the correct label. It should show a minus button on the far right, and it should also move our keys and position, or our ID and position fields a little bit to the left. Well, it'll shrink the keys one. The position one will just kind of shift over to the left a little bit, if I have my editor scripting knowledge correct, which is entirely possible that I'm wrong. Let's see. Oh, so close. No, I think it's moved over to the right, actually. this is where it should be. Okay. That had the opposite effect that I was hoping for. Oh, right, because I need to do. Okay. So let's get rid of this. So that's our final width. And then we're going to go ahead and say minus 25f divided by 2f. Go ahead and grab that. And then we're going to say minus final width plus 25f divided by 2f. Go ahead and wrap all those. All right, that should now work a little bit better. Let's see. I do like having our output match our output text. So now it says output 0, 0, output 0, 0. Makes it a lot easier for us to see it. Let's see if that moves our button over to the left a little bit. And once we have that functioning, I should just be able to test the add button real quick. And that should add output audio. Although I actually, now that I think about it, need to make sure that it's set to do that. Let's see, because it's entirely possible that it's set to, yep, there we go. Output audio. Okay, we're getting closer, but we're not quite there. Cat, I see you. Yes, I know. What do I need to do? Let's see here. So the problem is, so my final width. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Oh no, that. Well, let's just try this. I'm not really sure that will do what I want, but I think it will. All right. It might shrink our keys a little bit, or our ID field, so that it's a little smaller. But that should make everything work. So we'll let that compile. While that's going on, I'm going to take a drink. Let's see. Hooray! And I think that's correct. So it did shrink our keys in a little bit, but really that's not the end of the world. I don't care too much about that, so that's fine. Let's see here. So we have our position. Let's go ahead and add our another output. Looking good. And another output. Also looking good. Nice. So that seems to work. It does look like we need a little bit of extra padding at the bottom here, but that's a minor usability thing. Let's go down to our height here because our get output height is not quite working the way that it should. Let's see, outputs. Maybe this needs to be times 10 now. Let's see, success effects, blah, blah, blah. Output expanding. Yeah, so that's single line height times 9, which means it's expecting 9 fields. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. That's why. So this needs to be 10 now. And this field spacing, I have no idea why it's so borked, admittedly. All right, so that should fix our little gap here and make everything look nice again. Well, I think that will more or less do what we want in terms of outputting audio and outputting text. So let's go ahead and try that. Excuse me. I hate it when it's rainy outside like this. Whenever it rains, I always get super tired. No idea why. But today would be a good day for a nap. That much is definitely true. And we have too much. And too little. Great. Um, cool. So this needs to actually add more. Let's go times 7. I think one more will solve that problem. And let's see, everything else is looking good. So cool. So that is our output section. We do have word checks and all that, but I'm not really too concerned with those for now. Oh, which does remind me actually. So I thought about it. I haven't actually tested it yet, but it would probably be good to add item check audio, similar to how we have output here, and word check audio, similar to how we have, similar to how we have it in the verbs and the required items. So let's go ahead and do that. Right click, insert one to the right. We're going to call this audio. Insert one to the right. We're going to call this audio. Oops. Audio, all caps for keys. So if that ends up being the case, we'll come back to that in a second. All right, so there we have it. That's working as expected. That's working as we would expect as well. Cool. Let's get rid of you. You're really close to the bottom there, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Field spacing, we'll add one more if audio dot is expanded. Is that happening? It's not happening there, which is interesting. Oh, that makes sense. So actually I want to do that as well. So we're going to do this. Boop. Okay. And then we are going to... So the problem is that it's like right against there, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Position.height. Single line. Field space here. Alright. And then we're going to say plus field spacing. Alright. Once we're done here, I think we'll be able to say plus field spacing times 2f. That should offset everything properly. So now we should get... Oh, dang it. No. I messed up. Plus equals field spacing. That should give us a little bit more readability in the output text area as well. So my goal there was to, and I think we will see it in a second. You'll notice that this red button is like flush up against the output text. I just want to move it down just a smidge, which should not make this flush, but we'll see. I might have just moved it from top to bottom, but that was what all that fancy editor offsets we're supposed to handle. Ugh, it's always stressful doing this manually. Yep, there it is. So I need to go back up to here and do this. Hold on. I'm just going to do field spacing times 2 times 2f. Okay. So that should move that down a little bit. I'm going to let that compile and then... Excuse me. Did not mean to sneeze in everyone's ear. Alright, I think that more or less handles everything that I need it to. There is obviously some height offset issues, which only really is going to be a problem once I start having massive amounts of elements, but for now it should do pretty much everything that I want. The idea being that that'll just extend down a little bit more, and nice. So now we have these much nicer, sort of more readable spacing between everything. So if I add this, right, okay. So that means that this has to happen. Okay, come back down here. Um, hold on. Hold on. Why are you? Yes, that's about right. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. All right then. Let's go ahead and let that compile, I guess. It just feels like it's gonna be. Hmm. Like we should have a gap here, but I'm not seeing it. Um. That's interesting. I wonder why. Hmm. 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 Well, let's see here. We have our text area, which is a position with a height times 2. Position dot height. That's all fine. Red. Button pose is equal to numeric position. Label field output to string position. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Why aren't you actually adding spacing though? Hmm. That's interesting. It must be that I'm calculating it wrong. Like that. Mm, I don't know about that. I would have thought putting this here would let me have more notable spacing here, but it's not doing anything, which is not great. Let's see. Position, we do position dot height times 2 plus that. I mean, I could manually do this. I don't want to do this. Just to see what that looks like. Because there should be like a little bit of a gap between this button and the field above it. But it doesn't seem like it's there. And this is going to throw everything out of whack, but it should at least draw properly now, in terms of spacing. The backgrounds are going to be warped, but that's fine for now. I don't know why I would have to do it that way. It's super weird. Oh well. Okay. Oh, nuts to you. It added it twice. Just to just to mess with me. What the hell? So I shouldn't need that. It should be fine here. Was it just not updating for some reason? That's super weird. Hmm. Let's find out. Because I want to see this. It should not require that much space. Alright. And we should just see it move up a little bit. There we are. Cool. Why it did, why? I have no idea why it just didn't do that before. Cool. So let's go ahead. We're gonna come down here. Again, we have to adjust our height. And we're just gonna say plus equals field spacing. Times. Well, no. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I think it's this position. Should this be different for each one? Like it's going to get worse. It is. Okay, so this needs to be field spacing times. Oh, that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. We're going to wrap this stuff together. And we're just going to say plus field spacing times output array. Let's go ahead and wrap that in quote, or not quotes, parens, because I'm paranoid about that sort of thing. So that should now force everything to draw in a nice orderly fashion. I know it seems like I'm getting hung up on small details like this, but it's one of those things where if I let it get out of hand early on, it will just keep getting worse and worse and worse. So it's one of those things where you need to like take steps to prevent it from spiraling out too quickly. So once this compiles, we should see this line basically move down to like right about here, and then all will be right with the world. Ta-da! Cool. So now that's expanding correctly. It's showing everything in a good order. We now have a little bit of spacing between all of these outputs for readability. It makes it much easier to click on these buttons. We can freely remove elements as we see fit. We can add new ones. All fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. Get rid of everything except for the first one. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and say should I allow it to be parented? No, it's fine. I am going to do one more readability thing though, real quick. This is something that I personally do. I hate having this dot, which is the dot you click on to select things. I don't like having that be really close to controls like this. So what I tend to do is I tend to add about 5 pixels of padding is, I believe, the value I use. It might be 10. I think it's 5. So all we're going to do there is come down to here real quick. And when we make our position field, all we need to do is say that our width needs to be equal to final width minus 5f. And then we're going to say plus 5f here. Let that compile. I'm going to do something else while it's happening. But when we come back, this should just be shifted over ever so slightly. To give us a little bit more spacing, so I don't accidentally hit this minus button when I'm trying to click that dot, if I ever do so. All right, so that's all of our editor scripting for the verbs. Or I'm sorry, not the verbs, the outputs. And that should just take care of everything for us. We shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. If I could get back to Unity, I was going to check on the state of the rest of this. Ooh. I thought for a second that was Visual Studio crashing, and I almost had a heart attack. All right, so with that, we have our output. We don't have... Oh, that's not great. Cool, so those are messed up then. Sweet. So we're going to ignore word checks, item checks, and required checks for now. All we really care about is the output. That's the important thing because it has our text and our audio information. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to pick up these keys. That should let us hear the sound, make sure that it's still working as expected. Go ahead and save this. Play. Oh, dang it. I forgot to show you the dot being different. Oh, well. It's a very small difference, and it's not one that really makes a ton of difference, but it's just something that I do for readability's sake. Oh, shoot. Right. That's going to cause problems. Hold on. I forgot I still had the splash fade loaded in. That always causes problems. Okay. Let's go ahead and stop playing. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just unload this scene. And then we should be able to play this scene as normal. So I should be able to walk up to the keys, type take. It'll say taken, and then it'll play a little audio effect. So listen. Ooh, how interesting. It didn't, probably because I actually have that's doing item checks. Or I'm sorry, not item checks, but obtainable items. Um, oh, that's great. So we're gonna have to do that real quick, actually. Um, so you can see that it's giving us no sound output, blah blah blah. That's all fine. We can collapse this, collapse you. So, um, yeah. Let's go to item info. Actually, no, it's not even that. So let's look at the old one. Obtainable items is what we need to do here. So it's going to give us one silver key and one rusty key, but we don't have any output audio for that. So we probably need to. Wow, that also complicates things. All right, cool. So this is going to be interesting. Let's go back here. We're going to go to required items. I'm sorry, not obtainable items. Find all references. Oh boy, this is going to be a thing. Let's go to interactive object. Add to inventory, which all of this is, by the way. If we look, we have the success effect of typing take on this object is to add something to your inventory. It's a default output. It's not going to do anything crazy, but it does have obtainable items, and we need to draw those properly. So if we come back here, we're going to say if verb.obtainable items.count, or for each one of these, we're just going to say request an item, obtain item, and let's see, find item. We're going to loop through all of that. That's all fine. So we need to play an audio file here. So real quick, let's go back to here. We're going to go to output audio, find all references. And actually, this is going to come out right about here, output. So when we get our audio, when we get our output, it's going to check if our output audio is greater than 0 and do all this fancy stuff. And then it's going to play a sound. But it doesn't do that if it has more than one obtainable item, which is problematic. So let's see, verb.obtainable items.count -1. Parser, actually it should be doing verb.output, which would get the output. But let's see, parser.output result, verb.output. Let's go to peak definition. Maybe it did play it and I just didn't hear it. That's entirely possible, I guess. Output audio, output index is equal to output index. Ooh, that's a good question. Is that output index equal to the expected output index? This sucks because I have to look at this manually. Index of 0, that's all fine. Cool. So I don't actually care about the index right now, but I'm going to just play again real quick, and we're going to look at our pool manager to make sure that the audio is not instantly being recycled, or to just confirm if it has or has not played. If it does play, then we should get a little bit of an audio clip, or we should see it show up basically in the pool manager. Okay, so I'm going to be listening real close to this. It is okay. So let's go to pool manager. Nothing. So that means that it is not playing that audio, which is cool. Cool. And that kind of makes sense because it's probably just doing this. Yep. Cool. Jeez. Let me think. Well, I guess the easiest thing to do would be to do audio. So here's where it actually gets a little confusing, in the sense that not really confusing, more frustrating. So when you have multiple items that you get, in this case you have a rusty and a silver key on the same object, and you get both of those. Normally my approach would just be to have like an audio field here, but the problem is that they all kind of, well, they'd share the same audio clip, which means it would play at the same time. So I can't play audio on all of them, which is annoying. Okay. Um, what would be a good solution here? Hmm. So the way I'm currently handling this, you'll notice, is I am well, I'm basically just kind of looping through and logging everything to the input field or the input menu. But the problem is that we don't call verb.output, which means it's not going to play the sound. Um, and since I'm doing this in sequence, if each one had their own audio clips, I can't tell them to play that. I can only do that if it's the last audio or if it's the last one. And that's probably good enough. I don't think I really need to overcomplicate this much more. I think I can just have it basically. Let's go to output, go to definition. We're going to go ahead and I guess do this. We're just going to say public int output audio. We're just going to say fmod sound ID. Okay, and let's see. From JSON, let's go ahead and grab this, copy this, paste it in, go to definition, or repeat definition is probably good enough. Let's go ahead and copy this. We're going to say audio, item, audio. All right, let's save there. Audio, and this dot audio. That is an integer. Oh, hilarious. Cool. So this is actually going to be fmod sound manager dot. Nope. Get nope. Blah. How was I doing this before? Let's go over here to verb, output audio, blah, blah, blah. Although actually I will find that. Let's come back down here. Output audio is equal to new audio. God, I have to do this whole big thing, don't I? Yep. Well, actually, no. So we're just going to say sound manager, blah, blah, blah. So let's just do that. Come back over to here. Find, we're going to give it this value. And then we'll say dot ID. Okay. Pretty straightforward there. All right, cool. Let's go ahead. Oh, I guess that means I need to do the same thing here. This dot audio. Oh, right. Yeah, no, that should work. Okay, it's gonna be item audio. Cool. All right. So with that, we'll get a little bit of extra information, although we are going to have to draw it because I don't have any of that happening here. So cool. We're gonna have to draw that. Let's go back here to verb drawer. Let's close this. We're gonna go down to. Let's see, where are you? Here we are. We're gonna just copy this, paste that down. Draw required items. Let's go ahead and copy this, paste this. Hello, the real Kleinba. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Devstream. I did that out of order, but either way. We're going to go ahead and say draw obtainable item. Obtainable item section. This will be called obtainable items. That's all good. Position, true, output. Remove output. Cool. So, we're going to need to go down to here. this. There's just too much freaking information that has to be shown here. Get obtainable items height. We're gonna not worry about that for now. And then we are just going to go ahead and do this times 5. That should grab everything that I need. Oh, and I do need to go up to here. Oh no, that's right. I did it the smart way. I just added that. Hooray! I love it when I do something in a smart way that does not make me later look foolish. Which is surprisingly rare. So we should see a 5th drop down pop up here. And then we're going to go ahead and populate that. It will probably be actually a little bit more streamlined than even this. And again, there's not really much I can streamline there. Okay, so we have our required... Oh, did I not rename it? Entirely possible. Oh, it's because I didn't actually change how that was being called. Hold on. It's going to be draw obtainable items. Cool. So we're going to come back down to here. And now we get the fun one. So we're going to go ahead and say, I'm pretty much just going to copy this. Come back down here to our obtainable items. And we're just going to say custom editor, blah, blah, blah. So this is going to be obtainable items. We're not going to have this be based on success effect. Instead, this is going to be based on obtainable items. I believe that's actually what it's called. So, real quick, let's jump up here to be sure. And this is why I need to comment all of my code, even though this is ancient code that's not being used anymore. Well, some of it is. Let's see, we're going to grab obtainable items, copy this, jump back to verb drawer, paste that in there. We're going to rename this as, oh, cool, you're not going to do anything with me right there. Hold on. There we are. Let's rename this. So this is going to be called obtainable items. All right, so we're going to say obtainable items is expanded. We're going to draw our header. Blah, blah, blah. That's all good. Okay. Then we're going to get rid of this. And we're going to say position dot y plus equals position dot height. Okay. And then we're going to do rect bg position is equal to new rect position. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and just say bg position dot height is equal to get obtainable items height. Okay. Why are you mad? Oh, right. I gotta give it the property. We'll pass in property. Okay. And then we will just go ahead and say custom editor utility dot draw. I think I want to say draw. Did I say draw rect? Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what I called it. It's a new function, so I'm still trying to remember it. Draw rect. Oh, it's got its own thing, which is fine. Draw rect. BG position. Color that gray for now. All right. Actually, I'll probably just keep that as just regular draw rect. And with this, let's see, obtainable item info, we have all of this data to show. So we need the item ID, the output, the audio, the data ID, the amount, and if it should be obtained once. So let's go ahead and go back here to verb drawer. We're going to go to get items height, and actually, I can make this a lot easier on myself. Okay. So I'm just going to need to, yeah, actually, oof, this is much, nope. Nope, not quite. Not quite as easy as I would like, but, well, yeah, all right, let's do it that way. Um, so currently the way it's going to work is, I'm just going to do this. Height plus equals, we're not going to do single line height plus field spacing. We are going to say editor GUI dot get property height, and then we'll say right. Fun. We're just gonna say property dot find property relative. And this is obtainable items. So we're gonna go up here real quick. I'm just gonna copy that, make sure I get it correctly. Obtainable items dot get array element at index. We'll just say 0. I want to say. Do that. Plus field spacing. That is all fine and dandy. We don't need to do that's actually okay. Hold on. So I'm going to copy this. Come down here. We're going to say serialized property. Meh is equal to this. So we're just going to say obtain. I will just call this items. Items is equal to this times items dot get array index times items dot array size. Okay. So that should get us our accurate height. And I think we'll do the spacing just like that. Cool. So let's let that compile real quick, and then I'm going to go up to here, not up there, maybe down here, to find my data. Here we are. Oop, that's the wrong thing. Well, that's the actual data, but I need to add a editor for it. So we'll let that compile because it's frozen and I can't do anything while it's compiling, which is always annoying. There we are. Nice. So obtainable items. Well, it updated a little bit, although we didn't actually get. Doesn't look like it's taking that into account, which is kind of weird. Oh, that's why. Let's go ahead and hold on. We're gonna paste that. Yeah. Whatever. We'll just do this. We're gonna say dot items. Items dot is expanded. Okay. So now I gotta look real quick. Verb drawer. We're gonna do it there. Cool. So we're gonna right click, create C# script. It's gonna be obtainable item drawer. No, it compiled. Gotta wait. I was hoping I could create a new script and type its name and open it before it compiled. So now we're gonna get, yeah, that. Okay. So let that compile. Okay. So this is going to be in the text request namespace. We're going to say using Unity Editor. I don't think we need anything there. Let's go ahead and we're going to make this a property drawer. It's going to be a custom property drawer type of obtainable item info. All right, we're going to say override, get property height, override on GUI. Get rid of that. We're just going to say float height is equal to that. We're going to return height. Perhaps. No. Let's go ahead and say plus 2f. Let's wrap all of that. And then we're just going to say times. How many fields do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 6. So let's just go ahead and return that. Okay, and then we're just going to say position dot height is equal to editor GUI utility dot single line height, and then we're just going to go ahead and say editor GUI dot property field. We'll say position followed by property dot find property relative blah blah blah. Okay, and we're just going to copy this. So 6 times. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to drag this over so we have our item ID to start, and then output, and then audio. Okay, followed by data ID, amount, and obtain once, which I guess I'll copy that one because it's the longest one. Amount and obtain once. Okay, and before I do that, I'm basically going to just need to say position dot height, oh not height, dot y plus equals position dot height plus 2f. That's the padding that I use. Let's go ahead and copy that and put it there and there and there, and that should pretty much do it. So let's go ahead and let that compile. And then all I have to do over here in verb drawer is instead, so all of this should be correct. And all I should have to do, oh, and actually, hold on. We're just going to cheat, and I'm going to, I didn't make that a text area, right? No, I didn't, good. Although I can get rid of you. So if I go back here, I'm sorry, one more over. Let's see, this should be correct. That's also correct. And this is where things get a little iffy. So I need to say, items dot array size is greater than 0, question mark. Okay, if that's the case, so we're going to do this. It's going to be 0f. That's all fine. That's all fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and copy this and copy this just to make sure that that doesn't get blown away, because I know it will. And let's see, I think that will, oh, right, I almost forgot. I actually want this to do this, which is going to be custom editor utility. Right, it's not using that. Using sleepyowl.com and editor. Custom editor utility dot draw rect position color. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. It should highlight everything, I believe. So let's go ahead and let that go. See what it looks like. So in theory, when we come back here, our obtainable items, once we expand it, should be accurate. Like it should show everything. Okay. Although actually, now that I think about it, it's entirely possible that our labels will be flush with the side, so we'll see what that looks like. Well, that's interesting. Nothing, huh? Do we have any errors? No errors. You were just not drawing them. Well, no. We have this is custom. That is what it is, right? Oh, that's the verb drawer. Whoops. Here we are. I haven't actually drawn it. That explains it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pretty much all we need to do is just say for int I equals 0, I is less than, I'm just going to rename this to items because that's much easier. Items dot array size I plus plus blah 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 do. Then we're just going to go ahead and say editor GUI dot property field position. Okay, yeah. Items dot get array element index So, frick. I guess we're going to do this. So we're going to say position dot height is equal to editor GUI. We don't need to do that every time, actually. We can just do this. Position dot height is equal to editor GUI dot get property height. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to do this. If items dot array size is greater than 0. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of that. Come back down here. Wow, that worked all kinds of things up. Get property height, and then we're going to give it the items dot get array element index of 0. Okay, pretty straightforward. Well, you're no fun. So we're going to say position dot y plus equals position dot height, and that pretty much should do everything that I want. Go ahead and say position dot height is equal to editor GUI utility dot single line height. Just get that back to normal. Should pretty much draw everything, I think. So let's go ahead, let that compile. I do admit that I really do not like having having all of my verb stuff be drawn manually. I really wish I could use the GUI layout system. It would be so much easier. But it's also so much sloppier in terms of how it looks. Well, it looks like it is drawing them, but it's not taking them into account. So let's go back down here. Oh, that's why. Because I need to say plus get obtainable items height property. Ta-da! That explains why that wasn't working. It's always something small like that. Oh man, I can't believe it's already mid-December. Where does the time go? It's all gone. It's all gone. Sorry to be so existentially what's the correct term? Distressing, I guess. No sound manager in this scene. That's all fine. Let's go ahead real quick and just load that scene. So that should load our sound manager. So now I can select that. Let's go ahead and add keys and keys. You also obtain a rusty key. We're just going to go ahead and let that all go. I think, oh, right. I almost forgot. So when we're doing that, I need to come back over to here. Hold on. And I need to say plus not field info, field spacing. I think that will do what I want. And then I will also do this. Say position dot height, not dot height, sorry, dot y plus equals field spacing. Cool. So there. Let that compile. So that should give us that little bit of space there. That should move this down just a smidge to make things work. And yeah, I was right. Our positions need to be offset just a little bit. So let's go back over to here. All I'm going to do is we're going to draw our position, and then I'm just going to go ahead and say position dot x plus equals 3f is equal to that plus equals. And then we're going to say position dot width minus equals 6f. That'll give us our little bit of padding. And real quick, we're going to go back here to verb drawer. Pretty much going to do the same thing. We're just going to say position dot x is equal to. Can I do like different things? That's not helpful. I just know that every time I'm manually doing it one at a time, it becomes um, much more cumbersome because I'm doing 4 adjustments to a struct, which is 4 individual adjustments, which means I have 4 different structs happening at once. Versus set, I'm really hoping just does it once. So we're going to go ahead and say um, x is going to be equal to position dot x plus 3f, not 2f, 3f. Then our y will be position dot y plus field spacing, and then our width is going to be position dot width minus 6f, and then our height is just going to be this. I think that will do everything that we want, and it will do it in one go as opposed to 4. So that should help. And then down here, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're just going to say position dot set. So we're going to say position dot x minus 3f, position dot y. We don't actually need to move that, I don't think. Followed by position dot width plus 6f, followed by position dot, oh, nope, hold on, followed by this. So that should properly indent everything. Let's go ahead and let that compile and see how it looks. Also, I was right. I do want to have a little bit of spacing up here at the top. No way. Ah, here we are. I was going to say, like, something's wrong here. Interesting. Do I have one extra spot? Oh, there we are. Okay. Let's let that go. So that should compile now. It should move our labels in as well as our bounding recs here. I do need to add a little bit of padding at the top here. That's not too much trouble. Once this compiles, we can get a preview of it. I'll make my decision. I think for now I'm going to keep the outputs as just text boxes like this. Yeah, that looks good. So I need to add some spacing at the top of these drawers, and then I need to add one extra line thing down here. But you'll notice that in the old ones I was using text areas. And that'd be useful if I had a really, really long output, but I doubt any of these will ever have long outputs because they're just meant to be short little messages like, you got a key, or you found this inside of the object, blah, blah, blah. So minor edits real quick. We're just going to do this, and then we're just going to say plus 2f. We are just going to go ahead and say, let's just do it here. We're going to say position dot set position dot x plus 3f position dot y position dot width minus 6f, and then editor GUI utility dot single line height. Yes, that is correct. So let's go ahead and just comment these out for now. Okay, so that should set our property as we would expect. Oh, except this needs to be plus 2f. Very simple. All right, so if we let that compile, we should see this just like bump down a little bit, get a little bit of extra space. We can go ahead and actually come back here real quick. So we have all this. I can now get rid of you because I know that you work. Okay, and the last thing I need to do is just add a little bit of extra spacing down there at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and say get obtainable items height. Grab this. If it's expanded, then we're going to do all this fun stuff. And we'll say height plus equal field spacing. Okay. So there we are. You can see that we have a little bit more readability here at the top. It's not a ton, actually. It's much less noticeable than I would have thought, but I guess that's enough. The main thing is that we just don't have that overlap anymore, which makes things a little bit nicer. And now we should get a little bit of a bump down here to make things line up a little bit more even. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do, while that's compiling, we're gonna come back to verb output audio. Was it an interactive object? It was probably here. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're just gonna do this. I don't know what the falses are here for. Okay. So we're gonna do output, and then we're gonna go ahead and say if verb dot obtainable items of I dot audio does not equal 0, fmod sound manager dot play fmod followed by verb dot obtainable items of I dot audio. And that is where things get cumbersome. Position. A position to play that audio at. I guess it would just be this transform. Maybe. Thinking. Do we want it to be a 3D sound or not? It would kind of make sense. So great. I guess we'll do transform. It'll just be this transform. Okay. Oh, we don't want to do that actually on that one. We want to do it on this one. Okay, so we only want to do it on the last one. So let's go ahead and put this back the way it was. Okay, save that out. Let it load. There's our nice spacing to get everything looking pretty again. I'm not too concerned with having indexes on these obtainable items because I don't think there will ever be a moment. There will never be an object in game that gives you more than one or more than a few objects. So this is not particularly, excuse me, not particularly needed. Let that compile. Ooh, what happened there? That was super weird. Position was all out of whack. All right, so that's working. Let's go ahead and test it out. So hit save. So now when we play, we should be able to. Oh, dang it! Gotta stop playing again. I forgot to unload the splash fade. Oops. At least I stopped it before it got too bad. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and unload this real quick. Let's hit save. Okay. So now, when I take the key, we should hear a little bit of an audio cue. We'll find out. Okay. So let's listen. Nope. Nope. Well. How interesting. Why not? Perhaps item is overriding it. All right, let's find out. Find all references. Let's go to item. Add to inventory. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, that's not exactly ideal. So we're gonna do this again. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and say if output, verb dot obtainable items dot not dot count dot of I dot audio does not equal 0. Then we'll go ahead and say fmod sound manager dot play fmod verb dot obtainable items of I dot audio followed by transform. Okay, so let that compile. So I think that will solve our issue. It's funny to me that this gets messed up at some point. I don't know why it does. Oh, that doesn't. That's the old one. Ha! No wonder it's so messed up. I was like, why is it so much space above and below it? Okay. Oh, excuse me. Let's go ahead and look at this. Everything looks nice. Let's go ahead and try this again. And Shazam. Abracadabra. There we are. Let's go ahead and try this out. And listen. Yes! Nice. So that did play the audio. Um, so I think it still exists. So I can like keep taking them. And it will keep giving me keys, which is pretty funny. That's what happens when you don't have it destroy after. Okay. So that should that's the basics, I think, in terms of getting things to behave as we want. Let's go ahead and what other values do I have? Did I get anything for hit? I don't have. Let's go ahead and add an output audio. It's going to be keys as well. It will probably have to be itself for that. So let's just try this. I'm going to say hit. Nice. So it will also play when we do the default outputs. That's nice. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I'm going to go to, I think we can get rid of you. Oh, dang it. Go figure. Final references, hold on. Wanted to get rid of these because they're not really necessary. Let's go ahead and save. Close that. We're going to go to output audio, I guess. And then we're going to go ahead and say right. So I'm going to grab this, final references. There should not be a ton. So we're going to grab this, and it's in the verb. Never mind. I was going to do a final check on that and say, like, if it's null, it should use the interactive objects position. But that doesn't really pan out. So, crap baskets. I might need to restructure how I grab outputs from verbs, because right now basically what it does is I just get verb.output and the verb knows how it should behave. But with audio, that's causing problems because it has to have information on transforms, which verb as a data class does not have. Which means that I would actually have to pass in the owner of the verb, which would be a bit of a superfluous thing for this one thing. Okay. I do have an idea for this. I might have to convert this from a string output to like an interactive object output or something like that, or a verb output, which I kind of started doing right here, and it basically combined the string output with the sound, but I haven't implemented it yet, and I might do that actually after the Devstream today, just because there's no real reason that these three things can't be associated together. But the other problem is, in spreadsheet form, I don't have a convenient way of doing that, because keep in mind that this is what I'm working with. I have these two arrays, and they are two separate arrays, which makes things just a little bit more difficult. So, well, for now, I think we're going to end the stream a little early today, just because there are a few more things that I need to more thoroughly design, I feel. And also the next couple of steps that I have to do for verb output is going to be a lot more like precision positioning for these things. And that's just not going to be fun for anyone involved. So uh, I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the day. Let's see. Announcements. Nothing really off the top of my head. So we should be back on schedule next week to do streaming. So next Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time and all that. We should be on schedule for that. So aside from that, no real surprises. I think everything's kind of continuing on as normal. So, all right. I think we're going to call it a day with that. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.